more shots.
But I mean, offense, like in those moments, right, with the game on the line, you keep getting a stop. You're playing good defense, and you get a stop, offensive rebound. And what else is happening? The clock is ticking away. Oh, you get another stop, offensive rebound. Let's do it again. Like, okay. That's demoralizing. And like you said, that's what Houston does. He mentioned that when he was on with Scott Van Pelt after the game. Total shots. They get more shots than the opposition by forcing turnovers and getting offensive rebounds.
15-4 on the offensive glass. 15-4.
I have 17-5. Your stats are probably better than mine.
Yeah, I'm looking at ESPN.com. They have yours, but oftentimes not the most reliable on rebounds. But
yours are probably official. This is just what ESPN.
Regardless, whatever the number is, I mean, that's a huge disparity.
It goes back to what you said. Like that's the point. 26 more shot attempts because of that. The turnovers and the rebounds, mostly the rebounds.
Well, mention the turnovers.
And the turnovers.
Kansas 20, Houston 6. What's worse, the offensive rebounding disparity or the turnovers? That's worse, right? 20-6.
Yeah. I mean, and it shows two things. Kansas doesn't get offensive rebounds, and they're not forcing turnovers, right? Like Houston's doing both, and Kansas is not in this game.
Gurley said he needed to see after he demanded a big game from Hunter Dickinson. Where was that at? Which game was that? Was that Colorado?
Yeah.
Where he, before the game, demanded
25 and 12.
Hunter Dickinson answered, so then Gurley said in the next couple of games he's got to go up to a guard or two and demand a big game. Well, could have used that last night because, like, last couple of games, Dickinson and K.J. Adams haven't been the problem, right?
Right.
I mean, look at the numbers from Zeke Mayo and Harris. Coit was good. I mean, where would you have been without Coit last night?
Yeah, and it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't, because he gave up.
Defensively, he's not,
Yeah, several of those offensive rebounds, and yeah, he's
what are you gonna do?
So small. But at least he goes out there and plays hard and hits some shots. Rylan Griffin gave you nothing. A.J. Storr again gave you nothing. So at least Coit goes out and gives you something.
Right. Well, Storr was out there for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason.
And Rylan Griffin was out there for 11.
Yeah, I mean, Bill Self-Finland was like, well, might as well go with the little guy because he'll at least
Isn't that wild, though, if you think about, I mean, we're just beating a dead horse here, but like how much hype there was around Storr and Griffin?
Yeah.
And last night they comboed for 16 minutes and 2 points.
Yeah. I mean, that's by far the biggest disappointment because those two players were supposed to be impact players. They're supposed to make a big difference for this team. And it's gone the opposite direction through the course of the year. I mean, Kansas is looking at the very real possibility of not finishing with the winning record in the league play for the first time since, I think, 89.
Houston had 16 steals.
Look, the thing is, if you looked at this game in a vacuum and Kansas had a, 14-5 record, something like that, you would go, well, hey, Houston, best team in the league. This is what they do. Great rebounding team, tough team, great turnovers. It was their senior night. Losing by 6 Like that, this is not anywhere close to the worst loss Kansas has had this year, but it's in the context of everything that's happened with Kansas all year long that makes it feel even worse.
I mean, they only shot 35% from the field, Houston. So there was your chance.
Yep. Yeah.
They were beatable last night. I mean, it's. I can't get over the offensive rebound and the turnover numbers. That's unbelievable, especially for a Kansas team.
If you're watching the game at halftime, they were already, I don't know what the numbers were, but they were already out rebounding Kansas like crazy. And Chris Button asked Kelvin Sampson, like, what do you need to see more of in the second half?
What's his name?
No, the sideline reporter. Isn't her name Button?
I don't know.
Is it Chris Button?
I
don't
think it's Chris Button.
Oh,
that sounds like a.
I think that's her name. She's a
kid's
sideline
TV show
reporter. I can't remember.
Hi, I'm Chris Button. I don't.
No, but I'm sorry. I don't remember. I think her name is Chris.
Maybe.
Button.
I don't know. I just didn't know what you were referencing.
I don't think it's Chris Button, but
that's what I thought she said.
She asked Kelvin Sampson, like, what do you want to see? What do you need to do in the second half? Because they were only up by 3, and he said, well, we need to hit the offensive glass more.
Well, okay.
And then at halftime, like Seth Davis and whoever else was doing the show, they're like, it's like you get 99% on your test, and you come home and your parents are like, why wasn't that 100%? Like,
that's what they do, man.
Yeah, like he wasn't. They didn't the offensive rebound enough for him in the first half, and I mean, yeah, it's. And you can see it because, like, their instinct, as soon as the ball goes up, they are crashing the glass. And it's just like that first 2 steps where the Kansas player is still defending the play and not even realizing the shot has gone up. And before they realize it, their player has passed them into the basket and getting another rebound.
But, like, even some of the turnovers down the stretch. Like, what was that? Like Harris blew a tire or something. Just all of a sudden, just. I mean, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, stepping out of bounds.
I expected to see maybe he got pushed or something. Like, fell down.
Yeah, I don't know.
Throwing the ball away. I mean, but that you were complaining about that, Jake, in the final minutes of the Texas Tech game.
Yeah. Like
these weird turnovers that are
you're
miscommunications or bad passes or just like
your 5th-year point guard. I mean, there's not much of an excuse for it, and it seems to be happening. Like, is a freshman? Okay, yeah, slips. Okay, throws the ball into the crowd with 19 seconds left, down 3. Okay, I get it. That's not DeJuan Harris though, and it felt inevitable.
Yeah.
I thought one of the biggest, so many things happened after that. It really wasn't the biggest, but I thought it was a big moment. And maybe you guys agree or disagree because who knows how games would have played out. But I thought, Kansas had all the momentum, and you finally, you got the crowd at almost silence with about, was it 4? Okay, I'm looking at the play-by-play. 4:50 left when Hunter Dickinson made a couple of free throws, and then there was, and then Harris got a steal, and then Dickinson made a layup, and it was down to 3, and then Houston missed a shot, and Kansas had the ball down 3, and they'd had a couple of good possessions, and the crowd was absolutely silent, and momentum was killed. And you're thinking, oh, boy, look at this. And then you remember what happened immediately? Hunter Dickinson made a bad pass, and it was picked off, and the guy took it and laid it up.
Mm-hmm.
And and Fran Fraschilla said that was almost like a pick 6. You had momentum. The crowd was dead. Everything was going your way. And you make a mental error, and then now the crowd's going crazy. And then the next thing that happened was I think he got called for an offensive foul too, right?
Yeah.
But in that moment, it's like, kind of you sat up in your chair like, ooh, Ooh, Kansas had a couple of nice possessions, got a couple of stops. They got the ball. They're down 3. Oh, man, if they hit a shot here, this could really be, bad pass, layup. Crowd goes crazy. Momentum done. I don't know. I thought that was a moment.
Yeah, huge. And Dickinson had 7 turnovers. He usually is a pretty good passer as a big man, and he again, you got to give some credit to Houston because they're a very good defensive
that's
team.
what they do to
create
everybody.
turnovers, but it was just like, man.
They're relentless. They're not like it's like it's so different. So college basketball is such a great game. That was almost a different sport than what I watched between Mizzou and Vanderbilt. I mean, the high level of offense that I watched, and guess what? Defenses have to cooperate as well. They weren't playing a whole lot of defense out there, but like some of the shots and the level of difficulty that were made in that overtime game between Mizzou and Vanderbilt, you're like, I feel like I'm watching an NBA game, kind of like when you're watching Mizzou and Alabama, and then you watch that, like I feel like there's a fist fight that's going to break out after every possession. And it's just like rebounding, and of course you're watching high level defense here, but it's like a different game, like when Fraschilla was telling the story about Kelvin Sampson putting the metal lid on the basket in practice for an hour, and just having them play a scrimmage, like there won't be any shots made in this scrimmage, but you're gonna rebound continuously, and I'm like, why in the hell didn't I ever do that with my girls at St. Gabe's? If I could go back in time, because we could do it all, but we couldn't rebound against each other. And like what? I mean, I don't know. Had you heard about a coach doing that before?
No, I found that incredibly fascinating.
I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe Frank Martin used to do that.
All right.
But there was the same type of mentality. It was the same type of like, hey, half of our offense is just get the ball up toward the rim and then go get it.
He said they'll have it for almost the whole practice. And
and you can see it because their instinct is as soon as the ball goes up, they're anticipating where it's going to end up. And those first couple of steps, it's
And look, I'm not saying I am not one's better than the other, because it's incredibly frustrating to have a great defensive team that can't buy a bucket. That'll make you want to run your head through a wall the wrong way. Mm-hmm. And it's also incredibly frustrating to have a team that can hit every shot on the court, but then when they need to, they can't get a stop.
Yeah.
That'll make you crazy. Neither one of them is better than the other. It's just an observation. Like, I'm watching 2 different sports here. It's like 2 different experiences. Mm-hmm. Pick your poison. Either way, if you lose, you lose. But I mean, I've seen it. Hey, look, after I think most people would enjoy watching high level offensive basketball. But I think most coaches would enjoy watching their team play defense and rebound, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I don't care. If your team wins, then that's the right style for you. But like that would be wild. Like and that's another reason why the NCAA tournament's so great, especially in this year. In the differences in the conference. And conferences and how they play, like it will be fascinating to see Houston play one of these really good offensive SEC teams. Like I can't wait to watch Houston play Alabama or Missouri, or hey, if Houston gets a 1 seed and Vanderbilt's the 9 seed in their bracket, because I mean there's so many. Was going to be 13 SEC teams. Everyone will run into an SEC team at one point. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's just different. Like some of those teams can just it'll drive you crazy. Like I haven't figured out. Do these teams can't play defense, or are they just so good offensively that's why they're scoring in the 90s? And like with that last night, like I don't know, is Houston that good defensively and that good at offensive rebounds and forcing turnovers? Well, I can't wait to watch this in the NCAA tournament.
Well,
to
you
see
know,
how it plays out.
and another thing is when you're doing it in league play, the teams know you. Like Kansas knows what Houston is going to do. Kansas should be more prepared for it. When you're playing in the tournament and you see a team like that for the first time, you have to try to get prepared to play a style of basketball that you maybe haven't played, or at least against some tendencies that you haven't seen. And so that's always interesting to watch too. Like which teams can adjust the quickest. Which
I want to
teams
see
can
Houston
be ready.
and Auburn, but you won't.
Oh,
but you
man.
won't get that until the Final Four of the national championship.
If that was a
game.
national championship game, we'd all sign up for it. I think, right?
Yeah, but Duke will screw that up. So. Oh, they will.
Yeah.
So Jake, after some of the things you said yesterday, I know that you're happy that they covered, but did you see what you needed to see to give you hope that, hey, this team can go on a run in the tournament? Or is this just another loss and you're not gonna take anything away from it?
I mean, you could definitely take some positives away from it. They didn't get the like Scott Carroll said, the brakes beat off of them.
Well, I knew that would come back up.
I don't know. I mean, going into the game, it's not like I expected them to win. I think they showed some toughness. I think they have some problems that have just been so consistent all year long, and it's like the last 2 minutes of every game is just a nightmare for this team.
Like when they came out of halftime and they were in it, right? And so that was the one. Like if anyone wasn't paying attention, that if you're
Down
just checking,
3 at
okay,
half.
they're in it.
Yeah.
It's not a blowout.
Right.
Whoever was in the studio crew asked Fran Fraschilla, if Kansas plays this way, what's their ceiling in March? And Fran said, well, if they play well, if they play this way and do this and that, well, they can get the Sweet 16, but that's it. They can't go any further than that. Did you hear when he said that?
Yep.
Again, that's just crazy to hear.
Yeah.
If they do their best, that's all they. And usually Fran Fraschilla is ready to say, well, they can win it all, or they can go to the Final Four. If they can go on a run, he just like.
I don't think he's too far off though.
But I
agree
mean,
with
he
him.
just.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I
he just dismissed it.
Yeah.
Like if they play their best, maybe they can get the Sweet 16.
It's not a Final Four team. I mean, the right matchup in a Sweet 16 game, anything can happen.
Yeah, but you're looking probably like it happened to pull off a 7-2 upset, which they could do.
What's their seed going to be?
I think they'll be. I mean, right now, I think they were on Lenardi's 6th line, but
I sent you a clip that was posted by a close confidant here on Sports Radio 810, known as K-Dog. What's his name?
Curtis Siebold.
That's right. I like K-Dog. You
K-Dog.
say whatever. But Curtis posted this, and they were talking about that on TV last night. Sound quality's not great here, but the message is more important.
Curtis Siebold.
K-Dog does a good job of posting stuff that if I miss or anyone misses. But I think this is what they're talking about here as far as where Kansas can end up or where they might end up. Joe Lenardi was on with Scott Van Pelt live from his headquarters, wherever those are.
his mom's basement.
That's not.
That's where he once famously wished Nick,
Yeah.
a.k.a. me, a happy birthday.
Yeah, Joe Lenardi, Joey Brackets. Here we go.
I've got him as a 7 right now, coming off this loss tonight at Houston, and I still think that their range is 6 or 7 on
6 or 7.
Selection Sunday. I get the sense that you're
So is that right? You think 6 or 7?
Yeah, and let's see what happens over the next couple games, right? They got the Arizona game and then the Big 12 championship, and who knows if they win a game, and if they lose both of those, I wonder if they could drop even further,
Probably. I mean, the Arizona loss wouldn't be a bad loss, but losing their first game in the Big 12 would be a bad loss. Who do they have?
Well,
we don't have it projected last night. They had the bracket. They showed the bracket. If the season ended now, here's the bracket.
Yeah, it was
they
like
were
maybe whoever Central Florida versus somebody,
winner
of that, I think,
Yeah,
is what
right.
it said.
Right.
Be Arizona State and Central Florida, maybe.
I don't think so.
So they gotta win that game, I think, But one of the things that Fran said too last night was, I think this. He said, I think this is the first time in the Bill Self era where there's
It was
not
Utah.
Utah. Ooh.
It was the winner of Utah, Central Florida. You have to look. Don't break your brain trying to do tiebreakers because West Virginia, Utah, and K-State are all 8-10, and so good luck. But that's what they posted on TV last night.
Yeah,
they'd have the winner. If they lost that game, if they lost Arizona, and also lost to either Utah or UCF, they could. Right, that might put them in an 8.
Yeah,
but you would think they'd win that game, and then I think they had them the next game. If they advanced, would be Arizona again. That's what the brackets they showed. The brackets.
Yeah.
You're looking at me like you don't like the matchup. I didn't.
No. I mean, look,
maybe
it's
I'm just
a good
telling
thing.
you what it was based on. You're like
a chance to win a couple games.
You're acting like I picked it. I mean,
Yeah.
What they showed was, and it's ridiculous to do it. If the brackets, if the season ended tonight, like what's not, Fran? But go ahead, show us. Kansas will take on the winner of UCF and Utah, and if they won that, they'd play Arizona. That would be. I mean, who would you want out of the top 4 if you won a game in Kansas City? Who would you pick? You wouldn't. Would you want Houston again?
No.
That quick?
No.
Texas Tech, Arizona, or Iowa State or BYU? Because they're tied right now, and who knows how that's going to end up. Who would you want if you could pick your opponent on Thursday? I'm giving you a win on Wednesday. Who would you pick for Thursday in Kansas City?
I guess Arizona.
See what he says in there. Although I never know what his strategy is, so I'd love to hear it.
I don't know. Maybe Tech.
All right. Well,
I'll see how they. I mean, I haven't seen Arizona a whole lot this year, and
you'll see him Saturday.
I know that's what I mean. I guess like to see how they play against them Saturday.
I was just thinking of like who might not bring a ton of fans and
BYU, but they're
actually they
matchup.
travel a little
Well,
bit. They got
that's a bad matchup.
and that obviously that didn't.
But like Arizona is a good program that they might. Hey, this is our first time in Kansas City. Let's go.
Well, a buddy
of
of mine that I went to high
Maybe they
school
are.
with in KCK, Bishop Ward, is a University of Arizona grad, and he's coming back to town for it. He's all excited to come.
I
back
mean,
to
wouldn't
Kansas
you
City
be
for the
fired up
tournament.
if you were an Arizona fan to come here? I mean, I guess I don't know.
If I lived in Arizona in this time of year, I probably wouldn't want to be leaving Arizona to come to Kansas
but if you
City
love
for the
basketball,
climate.
you're not going to come out here and go hiking. You're coming here for the basketball.
That would be
game.
interesting if
yeah,
you did.
you're not.
Leave Arizona in
You're
March.
like, hey, let's
go
go.
hiking.
If the game's not played outside, Nate.
Fair enough.
I don't know if we're gonna go. That Kansas City weather could be tough. That sitting through that game would be horrible. But I mean, if you love Arizona basketball, if you're like a huge
if you're a big,
Arizona basketball, like man, they've talked about Kansas City's the best place to have a conference tournament. We're probably gonna be a part of that. Let's go, and we got a chance to win it. Come on, hell, I'd go.
Yeah,
those people are loaded. What's money to them? They are, right?
Maybe.
And like Texas Tech, you got to feel like you got to something. Hell, they advertise at Arrowhead Stadium constantly.
Mm-hmm.
They got to feel like Kansas City is part of their network now with Mahomes.
Yeah.
If I'm Texas Tech, I'm strutting around in Kansas City with Texas Tech stuff on, and I'm thinking people like me here.
Yeah.
This is to say I'm high-fiving people. People are coming up and thanking me, and I don't have nothing to do with Patrick Mahomes. I just go to Texas Tech. Hey, how you doing, Mahomes? Roll out the red carpet. We'll take a break. I got some other stuff to talk about after this on Sports Radio 810 WHB. What's up, Kansas City? Stephen St. John here for my friends at Window Nation. Man, we're going to talk to Gary Lezak a little bit later and find out exactly what the weather's going to do tonight and tomorrow. But it's a reminder that it seems like winter never ends here in Kansas City. And if you're tired of seeing and feeling that winter weather coming in past your old windows, you need to contact my friends at Window Nation. Their high-quality, energy-efficient windows will get rid of those drafts and moisture, and they'll keep your costly heat inside, lower your monthly utility bills, and keep your home comfortable year-round. And guess what? They're affordable, too, because right now you can get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. That's right, 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. And you can get 0 interest and 0 payments for 2 years and pay nothing until 2027. So you better hurry because the offer ends soon. Don't overpay for expensive windows that may not be as good. Schedule a fast, free estimate now with the pros at Window Nation. That's 866-90-NATION. 866-90-NATION. Or check him out online at windownation.com and schedule a fast, free estimate with the pros at Window Nation. 866-90-NATION or online at windownation.com and tell them SSJ sent you. Welcome back to New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Either you guys watching White Lotus or no?
Oh, we haven't started it yet. We want to. We're gonna. Absolutely. We watched the first couple seasons.
It's a trip, man.
Is this one more of a trip? More
Yeah.
trippier than the last couple?
Goggins. Phil walked in and Susan and I were watching it, and he looked on the screen. He goes, Goggins, he's awesome. Does that make you happy, Jake, that Phil saw the screen and just commented that he loves Goggins? We all do, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Baby Billy. Everybody loves Baby Billy.
Uncle Baby Billy, dude. Come on.
Bible's bonkers.
Respect your elders. But Schwarzenegger's kid's in it, his son, and he's good. He's makes you not like him. He's a creep. But it's see, you guys haven't seen this, so you have no idea what I'm talking about. But anyone out there just watch the Lotus, there's a couple of times, a couple of scenes where you look at him and you're like, oh yeah. You see a little Bobby Kennedy or a little Kennedy to him, because what would he would be the grandnephew of JFK and RFK. Maria Shriver is his mom, and Maria Shriver's mom was Eunice Kennedy, who married Sergeant Shriver. Eunice Kennedy's sister of JFK and RFK. So so you see it, and he's a pretty good actor. Well, he's a creep in this, and so it's like. Hopefully he's not that way. This is acting. It's good, but a couple of times last night, like he did, I did a rewind. I go, look at that, and you can see it. Like, oh boy, I don't know. I observe these things,
Yeah,
Nate.
yeah.
And my wife's like, will you please let the episode play? This is not your DVD commentary, Stephen. Let it play. I go, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I will. And I did catch up on Paradise. You were right. That last episode was a nail biter. And I look forward to the next one.
Comes out today, right?
At night. But it's like 11 p.m., right?
I thought it was 11 p.m. last night.
Was it? I don't know. You tell me.
I think it's out today.
All I know is, like, Severance comes out on Thursdays at 9 p.m., and I can do that. But whatever day Paradise comes out late, so I have to do it the next day. Is it out?
So I think it comes
in.
out 11 p.m. on Monday.
All right.
And so it's out.
I'll be watching
I
that.
usually watch it Tuesday afternoons.
I got everything worked out now, because now on Sunday night I watch 1923, on Monday night I watch White Lotus, and on Tuesday I watch Paradise. I do watch Severance the minute it comes out on Thursday, if I can. And then you got Reacher on Friday. Did you watch the last Reacher?
Yeah, I'm caught up on Reacher.
You like that?
Yeah, I love Reacher.
Yeah, of course you do.
Taking a swim in the ocean.
Do you love Armand Membu?
I know you love Armand Membu.
I think the NFL loves Armand Membu because Will you wrap your arms around a local kid, please?
Yeah, no.
Get over the Missouri. At least I'm in North. If you want me to say that,
it's great.
It's a big guy to wrap your arms around, though.
Well, listen to this. So did you see what he did on the bench? Because people were like, oh, well, so what? He ran a 4.91 and everything else.
How much you bench?
Right. How much you bench? Did you see how many reps he got up, Jake? Mr. Combine? Jake's thinking about it. Don't look it up. Did you see
I'm
it?
not. I'm just putting out. I'm just dealing with a lot of stuff here. I did not see how many reps he put up.
Armand Membu, 31 reps on the bench press.
That's a lot.
Which was number 1 amongst offensive tackles and number 4 among all combine participants. Dane Brugler, who at one time took the phone call of Jake Gutierrez, I do not know if he still does.
Yeah, I was texting with him last week.
What are the odds that he comes on this show?
Probably pretty good.
Probably pretty good. All right, I like it.
Yeah.
If that's what you say, I'll have it. I'd like it. And he said, and this was an interesting post, I think Membu would be a terrific guard, but I don't know why we're moving him. The tape shows high-level tackle traits. he was my number 8 overall player in last month's top 100. So I started to check around the mock drafts, and the 2 mock drafts I saw last night, PFF had him going number 5, and the latest mock draft that I saw at CBSSports.com from Lance Zierlein has him going number 4 to the Patriots.
How much you bench?
So, like, good God, right? And so, and if people are well, they're just letting the combine and these numbers raise this kid up. Well, here was the deal: if you watched him at Mizzou, he was terrific, and so now he went out and he kicked ass at the combine, and so now it's causing, I think, people to go back and look at the film and look at what he did at Mizzou at right tackle, like, oh, he was really good at right tackle. Because people are so quick to he played right tackle at Mizzou, but we're going to move him to guard because he'd be a great guard. And now all of a sudden people are like, oh, maybe just leave him at right tackle. Pro Football Focus put this out yesterday. Last season, as a right tackle, he had 411 pass block snaps, 0 sacks allowed, 0 quarterback hits allowed, along with an 87.5 run block grade.
Pretty good.
You want to move him off right tackle? But I guess it just depends on what you have and whatever else.
Yeah.
But guess what? I don't know. Maybe you have a right tackle in the last year of his contract, or a right tackle that you don't want to pay, in a year or two. You could draft Membu and have him play at a tremendously high level of guard, and then have the versatility to bump him out to right tackle. So there you go. I'm sorry, Nate. I know he's a Mizzou guy, but he's Lee Summit North. He's local, and he just kicked ass at the combine, and we embrace those kind of kids around here.
You going to embrace him when he's playing for a division rival?
No, not at that point, but he doesn't yet. I'm embracing him because
I just wish the Chiefs could have a chance at him, but
he's showing people
San Francisco at number 11.
what we saw. So you don't agree with the mock drafts that I told you they just have him skyrocketing into the top 5?
I mean, I just would be shocked if he went up all the way to the top 5.
But after everything that he did, you're the guy that buys into the combine.
No, I mean, hey, look, I think being 11 is got. I mean, most mock drafts before had him, in the
At 10.
late teens.
especially like if they're profiling him as a guard.
Right. Mock drafts I saw had him at 10 and 11.
But if they're starting to think of him as a tackle, maybe that pushes him up towards the top 5.
Right.
Jake gets excited about guys running around in their underwear.
Sure, I do.
Zierlein had him number 4 to New England. We'll see. But that's the kind of, he's that's what you do. If you were being mocked at 10 or 11 going in, and then you go and absolutely destroy things in the combine, you'll move up. And there's not, Dane Brugler again, your guy said, absolutely in the conversation to be the first offensive lineman taken. All right.
I still think it'll be the kid from LSU, but I think he might be the second guy gone.
Right.
And it just depends on what each team has different evaluation processes, right?
Yeah.
One might value the game tape more. Like you said, I'm not saying the game tape's bad, but obviously what's catching everybody's attention is the eye-popping numbers at the combine.
Yeah.
And
But then they go back and look and say, oh, he was
interview process, all that
fantastic
stuff
at Mizzou. So, congrats to him, man. What a combine for Armand Membu. We'll take a break. Back after this on WHB. SSJ here, wondering if your lawn is ready to be the envy of the neighborhood. At Custom Lawn and Landscape, they make achieving a green, weed-free lawn easy with their expert 7-step fertilization and weed control program. That's what Jake had when he was in college, a weed control program. This is very different, though. Could be as effective, hopefully, but we're looking forward to it. With over 40 years of experience serving Johnson County, we're all very excited. Custom Lawn and Landscape are taking their show to Lawrence and all of Kansas City as well, including the Northland. And here's the best part. You can get your first application absolutely free. That's right. And their expert grub control is guaranteed to prevent lawn damage before it even starts. Don't settle for a patchy, weedy yard. Grab the lush, healthy lawn that you deserve. Call Custom Lawn today or visit customlawn.com to claim your free application to get started. That's the best way to do it. Go to customlawn.com and claim that free application. Custom Lawn and Landscape, because beautiful lawns don't happen by accident. An interesting story that I stumbled upon yesterday. Hurt my back. Then I got up, dusted myself off, and read the report. This comes from Jeff Fedotin, and if you have heard that name before, that's Joe Valerio's podcast partner at Locked On Chiefs. He covers the Chiefs, covers the NFL, and writes about football for Forbes. And he had a good article that explains some things. You like when mysteries are explained?
Yes.
You like getting answers? Well, one of the mysteries and something that we never got an answer to, why didn't the Chiefs ever bring Donovan Smith back after they won a Super Bowl with him and they were craving help at left tackle? What the hell? Well, maybe he wants too much money. Maybe he doesn't want to play. Remember all these hypotheticals? Why this or that? Well, Jeff Fedotin wrote about it, and he said that according to a source close to the situation, about half the league called to check on Smith last year, but he wasn't able to help the Chiefs or any other team because he injured his hip while he was working out in May, before the season started. He suffered a hip injury while training in May of 2024 that caused him to miss the entire 24 campaign. And so several teams called him and to check in on him, and he wasn't physically able to play, but now he's healthy and he wants to play. He will turn 32 this summer. And he has said he is available. Despite his age and durability issues, Fidelton writes, Smith would be an upgrade from the Chiefs' current offensive tackle situation and could be a cheap option in 2025, just as he was in 2023. Oh, I'm bringing him in. I mean, if you're going to ask me if I'm interested, I'm bringing him in. If he will allow it to happen, if he will sign on the dotted line, I'm bringing him. I'm just not going to hand him the keys, but I'm bringing him in and say, hey, we want you to be a part of this. Will you come in here and compete for a job to see if you can play at the level that you did when you helped us win a Super Bowl 2 years ago? Anyone against that?
I'm against any option that they can
Right.
afford
Right.
to improve the tackle position.
You're against it?
Did I say against?
Yeah,
it?
you
Oh.
definitely said against it.
You said you're against any
That's a
option that can
wild
help
take.
them. Like, why?
That's a
I'm here for
wild
hot
take.
takes, guys. I'm here for hot
Why?
takes.
Why any option? I mean, like all of them? You're against
Wow.
every one of them?
He likes the guys that are here.
Dead set on Wanye Morris or Suamataia. I don't get it.
I'm against anything that can help the tackle position.
That's what you said.
Yeah, no, he's set.
I sat here and
He likes Wanye.
What's he gonna say now?
No,
Kingsley Suamataia as your
don't
guy.
see a reason
No.
to improve
I'm
the
against it.
offensive line
Hot
whatsoever.
take, Nate. On fire today.
I mean, you guys don't want me to just come in here and say the same old thing,
No,
you know?
that's wild take. Hey, respect it. Don't agree with
so
it.
yay or nay?
Yay. Yay, absolutely.
But does that
makes sense?
Yeah.
but does that also make like okay? So now I understand why they didn't bring him in. He wasn't available. Okay, thank
Right.
you.
That clears a lot of things up.
Yeah.
Because going into that was the biggest issue going into the preseason,
Right.
into training camp. It's like why are they not bringing anybody in to compete?
Stop
That's a
dicking around with this. What are you doing?
veteran.
Right?
Right.
That's just okay. Everything's so cloak and dagger, I guess he just didn't. Maybe he didn't want to say it.
Right. I mean, he clearly
Maybe he thought I'm going to get better. I'm going to be okay by the halfway point. I'll be okay by the postseason.
And I think they
Just
probably have to
never
respect
was.
him just in terms of HIPAA.
Who knows? Yeah, his
HIPAA?
HIPAA was bothering him. That was the problem. He heard it. He heard his HIPAA.
And it sounds like Brett Veach was hip to the whole situation.
So or maybe they kept calling him, say, "How you feeling? You good?" Like, not yet. I'm gonna get there. And it just got to a point where, okay, we gotta call DJ Humphries.
Yeah.
So, two things you take away there. One, that explains why they never brought it back. And two, that adds another possible option. And maybe the Chiefs say, "Nah, we're good," but they shouldn't. They should closely examine despite what Nate says, every option. should
Even
be
though Nate's
examined.
against it.
Yeah.
I'm against it, but, I can be talked into it.
Right. Well, we'll see what we can do. We've still got you another hour. We'll be right back after this on WHB. That's one of the best things I've ever heard. I am against anything that helps this left tackle situation. Like, oh, well, this guy's coming back on fire. You know what else is fire? Delicious Joe's Kansas City barbecue. Man, oh man, do I love it. And I also love the fact that I downloaded the Joe's KC app. Jake did it too. He listened to me. And now when I want Joe's, I can get that delicious barbecue from the comfort of my car. It's so easy to do. You download the Joe's KC app on the Android or iOS platforms. Then you can place your order for curbside pickup at the pickup time you select. Once you arrive, their tremendous curbside crew will deliver your food fast and fresh right to your car. It doesn't matter. You can order a Z-Man. You could order some ribs like Romeo Cornell. You can order dirty rice. You can order, I don't know. Nate, what do you want?
I like the chicken Z-Man.
He wants a chicken Z-Man. I'd do that on the app. That's easy. Done. Fries, whatever. Or you can get meats by the pound for your next get-together.
Their chili is incredible, by the way.
Yeah. You like that burnt-in chili?
man.
No, everything's good. Download the Joe's app today. and grab Joe's to go at any of their 3 locations, Olathe, Leawood, or the original gas station location in KCK. And please tell them SSJ sent you.